Today in 5-minute tones, I want to take one of the Axe FX 3 Mark IV models, in this case the USA Lead mid-gain. I want to dial it in with my PRS SC245, and then I want to show you how I would go about tweaking this for a different guitar. So let's start. We've got USA Lead mid-gain at the stock settings. The cab I'm using is this mix that I made of my Marshall with V30s. This one is on the Axe Change if you want to grab it, and I've got the low cut set to 80 Hertz. That's all I've done in the cab block. Okay, if you've seen my other videos with the Mark series amps, you know that there's a little bit of tweaking that goes on. So let's just do this on the authentic page to start with. I will turn the overdrive all the way up. I'm going to set the bass to 2, the mids to 2, and the treble to 7. These are always my starting points. I'll set the presence at 1, and I'm going to turn the master volume down to 3. Then the trick is to go to the output EQ and give this a sort of V shape. We're going for a high gain metal style sound. I'm going to go 6 minus 3 minus 6 3. Let's just go 2 there actually, and I'll go for 1 with this particular band. This is what it sounds like so far. Alright, a few little tweaks I would make to that. I'll go to the input EQ. I'm going to set the low cut to 250 Hertz. This just tidies up the low end a little bit. Beautiful if you're into chunky riffs in a drop tuning. The other thing I'll do is go to the ideal page and turn the fat switch on. I love the way this sounds. Let's have a listen to that. So that's already pretty happening. Maybe a little bit more mid-range and a little bit more treble. So I'll just turn the treble up to 8 here. Alternatively, I could leave that where it is, and I could go to the output EQ and turn up this 2200 band. I'll turn it up just a little bit. I am pretty happy with that. What I'm going to do is swap over to a vastly different sounding guitar. I'm going to swap over to a Roberto Lassie guitar, which is carbon fiber with a maple fretboard. It's a significantly brighter sounding guitar than this one. Let's have a listen to it. So you can hear this guitar definitely has a different character to the single cut. It's also got mini humbuckers, and it doesn't have quite as much output. It's a little bit more vintage voice. So a few little things. We can turn the gain up, but if we just go to the input drive, that is going to change the character of the amp a little bit. So I'm going to turn the input trim up. I'll just take it up to about 1.5. And because this guitar is a little bit brighter, what I'm going to do is just bring the treble control down a little bit, and you know, I'm pretty happy with the rest of it, I think. I might just give it a slight bump with the mid control just to change the kind of structure of the gain a little bit. You can see these are all really fine tweaks as well. And you know, that's already plenty of gain. I might like just a little bit more, so we can experiment by turning the input trim up even further. in this case, you know, I might actually just bump the low cut up to about 300 just as a final flourish. The other thing I can do with input EQ is, say I go to about 700 hertz, I could give it a little bit of a push in the mids as well, just to sort of offset the fact that this guitar has such a kind of high mid focus to it. So I could bump that one, say, by 3 dB and make the Q a little bit wider. We get this. So there is truckloads of gain going on there, but they would be my main tweaks if I had a sound I really liked with one guitar and I kind of wanted to accommodate for the idiosyncrasies of another guitar. This thing really does sound pretty unique, and a lot of the time, because I get that question a lot, like, what do you do to compensate between different guitars? A lot of the time, I like amps like the Mark series amps because the bass, middle, and treble controls are before the gain, so you can really use those controls to essentially accommodate different guitars and tweak the pre-EQ, or you can tweak the pre-EQ by using the input EQ control there. And I find guitars that are really bright, I like to accentuate, say, like, you know, a slightly lower frequency. Guitars that are really dark, I might turn this frequency up somewhere, you know, into the like 1200, 1500 kind of realm. So there's a couple of little tricks there, and ultimately, you know, I hope you just appreciate how fantastic these Mark IV models sound on this firmware 9 beta. I'm really looking forward to the full release. And there you go, you got it. I said beta. I slipped into Australianism there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.